The top stories tonight and why news. As July approaches, Malacanang says there may be changes in the President's State of the Nation address amid the coronavirus pandemic.
President Rodrigo Duterte has appointed a new health official called Undersecretary for COVID-19 Response. But it seems that the new health official has been thrown questions since day one in his post.
The House will lowers its power rate soon. A lawmaker files a bill in the lower house of the Congress to mandate the local and national government to provide safe pathways for bicycle riders.
New Zealand says it has no active coronavirus cases for the first time since the 28th of February.
A Romanian shoemaker keeps people apart with size 75 pairs of shoes. And find out why visitors in a care home in France enters a bubble of happiness. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, June 8, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next 45 minutes as we deliver today's top stories around the globe. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news, the Office of the President, Rodrigo Duterte, is looking into some possible changes in conducting the President's Fifth State of the Nation Address, or SONA, due to the COVID-19 threat. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, this is expected as threat of the infectious disease remains.
That's being discussed. I think kung meron tayong blended learning, we will also have a blended SONA.
SONA is a yearly tradition in which the Philippine President appears before the joint session of Congress in Batasang Pambansa Complex in Quezon City every fourth Monday of July. The Chief Executive reports on the status of the country, unveils the government's agenda for the coming year, and proposes to Congress certain legislative measures. President Duterte's fifth SONA is scheduled on July 27. Various parts of the country may have new COVID-19 risk classifications after June 15. According to presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, the data will be checked if the doubling rate of COVID-19 cases in the country further slows down, as well as the status of critical care capacity in each area. However, the government will have to examine thoroughly the case in Metro Manila if the coronavirus restrictions will be eased to modified general community quarantine or MGCQ or not, especially that the NCR remains to be the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak in the country. President Rodrigo Duterte is set to meet with the Interagency Task Force against COVID-19 in Davao City regarding the matter this week. Metro Manila's top cop relieves five San Juan City policemen from their post. Meanwhile, the PNP chief personally apologizes to Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalo. Leia Ilagan, our police reporter, reports why.
NCRPO Director Police Major General Debold Sinas relieved 5 San Juan City policemen from their post after being part of Mayor Francis Zamora's convoy in going to Baguio City last Friday. According to General Sinas, the 5 cops ignored the checkpoint in Baguio City's entry point and did not submit themselves to medical examination, which is part of Baguio City's quarantine protocols. The 5 policemen have been temporarily assigned to the NCRPO Regional Personnel Holding and Accounting Unit in Camp Bagong Diwa, Taguig, pending an investigation.
We have relieved the PNCOs ngayon, kasi kahapon lang naman sila nag-report galing sa Baguio, pinag-explain na sila. It's the regional IAS ang nautusan. It came from directive from DCA.
The NCRPO TAPCAP is also looking into the possible liability of San Juan Chief of Police, Police Colonel Jaime Santos, but the PNP chief explained,
naman ata kasama si Chief of Police sa convoy. I will not give my decision, no, because I have to hear anong ginawa niya after that, and then in the course of the investigation, ano ang degree of liability niya.
They are also analyzing the violation made in acquiring authorization as Mayor Zamora's police escorts. Based on the Alunan doctrine, its VIP is allowed to have only 2 police escorts from the PSPG.
I don't think there's a violation because national police kami in nature, and there are certain protocols that should be followed whenever you secure individuals. Pero yung sa PSPG kasi, more on permanent na security yun. Kaya dinadaan namin sa PSPG. Case-to-case basis, then a letter order could suffice, no? If there's an importance on securing the VIP for purposes of ganyan, travel to other places. But proper authority should be issued.
Because of the incident, PNP Chief Police General Archie Gamboa personally apologized to Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong for the action of his men. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In connection with that news, Malacanang appeals to local chief executives to lead by example in obeying quarantine protocols. This was after the reported quarantine protocol breach of San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora when he went to Baguio City on June 5. Zamora said he brought his wife, a cancer patient, to Baguio to rest. But according to reports, Zamora and his entourage sped past the Cannon Road quarantine checkpoint and quickly proceeded to Baguio Country Club.
Iniiwan po natin ang investigasyon ng kasong ito sa ating kapulisan, but I appeal to everyone, kinakailangan po magsilbing halimbawa ang lahat.
Although it remains uncertain when they will be allowed to resume their operations, a group of jeepney drivers in Pasay City are preparing for the new normal. They also call on the government to allow them to serve the riding public already. Joan Nano tells us why.
This group of public utility jeepneys in Pasay City had spent around 3,500 pesos just to modify their vehicles to comply with social distancing protocols. The adjustments made will also allow for hand hygiene among passengers. They also asked for the cooperation of passengers to ride at the nearest terminal because they are planning to implement a point-to-point travel under the new normal.
Yun po ang pinaka-safe na pwede nilang gawin kung medyo ang distansya po kalahating kilometro. Siguro po pagtiyagaan nating lakarin kung lalo na kung malayo po ang biyahe. Sabay-sabay ho tayong magsakripisyo.
Jeepney drivers are also urging the government to allow the resumption of their operations as many of them have no income to sustain the needs of their families.
Kakain ka, 2 beses na lang, minsan 1 beses na lang. Pinag-iisa na lang, tanghalian. Gabi, kung may mabiling saging, lalaga. Kung ano yung pinakamura. Nangungutang, yung may bariyan na tira sa jeep, yun lang pinabibili. Tag 10, 5, pinagkakasya.
Mari Fesican, who works as a jeepney dispatcher, used to earn 350 pesos a day. But now she just picks up cassava leaves and moringa in an empty lot near the terminal so her family could have something to eat.
Hirap po. Sana magkabiyahe na po. Tulungan niyo po kami magkabiyahe para makaaraos naman. Wala pa pong natanggap ng ayuda kahit yung mga anak ko lang. Sabi nila, ngayon daw ang ayuda, wala pa naman. Lagi-lagi, bukas, wala naman.
Jeepney drivers are appealing to the Department of Transportation to consider the resumption of traditional jeepneys operations instead of prioritizing modern jeepneys.
Sana naman wag sa panahong ito. Susunod naman ho kami. Kakaka-convert lamang po sa mga transport cooperative. Wala pa po yan na mga pondo. Nag-iipon pa lamang. Lalo na ho ngayong lockdown. Ngayon mo ipipilit yung pagpapalit namin ng unit, wala ho kaming mailalabas, wala nga po kaming maibigay na pagkain sa aming mga pamilya.
In a statement, DOTR Assistant Secretary Goddess Hope Libiran explains they will not allow the operation of traditional jeepneys at this time because they have to follow the hierarchy of transportation. Jeepney drivers vow to comply with the government's protocols just to allow them to operate and earn a living. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
other news, Malacanang assures the second tranche of social amelioration program will proceed even if the Bayanihan law expires. Our Malacanang correspondent Rosa Licos will give the details why.
Malacanang assures the beneficiaries of the second tranche of the Social Amelioration Program will still get their cash assistance, although the extension of the Bayanihan law was not passed in Congress. According to Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, though Bayanihan law will expire on June 25, the distribution of the assistance will proceed.
Ang ina-assure ko lang po, yung mga benepisyo na hindi pa natatanggap ng ating mga kababayan na paloob sa Bayanihan Act will be given to them po. Wala pong epekto itong diskusyon kung kailan ang expiration ng law pagdating dun sa second tranche ng ayuda at iba pang mga ayuda na dapat naibigay.
Secretary Roque adds the government prioritizes the additional 5 million families not included in the first tranche of SAP. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, for its part, is validating the list of additional beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the Office of the President is studying if there is a need to call for a special session of Congress to enact a law that will extend the Bayanihan law amid the coronavirus pandemic.
I'm sure the Office of the Executive Secretary is studying this matter already, pero ang importante po, magkaroon ng isang stimulus bill na suportado ng parehong houses of Congress po.
Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police believes that crime incidents in the country will increase when parts of the country transitions to various community quarantine levels. Though at this time, the figures remain low. Leia Ilagan reports why.
More people have been allowed to go outdoors after the national government placed parts of the countries under either general community quarantine or modified community quarantine. According to PNP Chief Police General Archie Gamboa, the number of crime incidents remain low at this time. Based on PNP data, 2,801 crime incidents happened in the last week of the ECQ. The figure went down by more than 400 in the first week of GCQ. Incidents of 8 focus crimes, namely murder, homicide, physical injury, rape, robbery, theft, motorcycle, and motor vehicle carnapping also went down to 86 or 20.57%. From 418 recorded in the last week of May or last week of ECQ, the number reduced to 333 in the first week of GCQ. The PNP chief says that aside from their campaign against 8 focus crimes, they will not let up their measures against illegal drugs.
Despite the decline in crime volumes, your Philippine National Police remains steadfast in fighting the bigger war on illegal drugs.
The National Capital Region Police Office, for its part, remains on full alert status during this GCQ period. NCRPO Director, Police Major General De Bolsina says he has deployed personnel in places of convergence.
May mga borders QCP na kami na dinismantled because maapektuhan na sa traffic. So nilagay na po namin sila sa mga critical places just like malls, markets, public markets, yung mga places of convergence at saka sa MRT, LRT at saka PNR and buses.
Metro Manila Staff CAP adds, despite of their busy schedule implementing minimum health protocols, they remain steadfast in their anti-criminality and anti-illegal drugs campaign. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Ito ay isang malaking responsibility in terms of making sure that the services are given and it creates an impact to the community.
Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says he has no idea whether the appointment of Undersecretary Vega is the president's way of eventually replacing the position of current Health Secretary Francisco Duque III.
Hindi ko po alam kung kapalit siya ng secretary, pero ang konteksto po ng pag-a-appoint, and I was in Davao, was the president was very unhappy with the delay Hindi po talaga natuwa ang presidente na na-delay yung pagbigay ng mga benepisyo sa mga frontliners na namatay at na nagkasakit. At ang sabi niya, kailangan magkaroon ng isang maaasahan na tao dyan sa Department of Health, and that was Secretary Vega.
Undersecretary Vega also said that it is clear to him he has been appointed as a health undersecretary and not a health chief. When asked if he would accept the position of health secretary if offered him, Undersecretary Vega answered,
I don't think I can answer it right now, but it's too theoretical, and I'm just preparing myself for undersecretary, so I cannot fathom being secretary at this time.
Meanwhile, tomorrow, June 9, is the Health Department's deadline to distribute the sickness and death benefits of COVID-19 hit healthcare workers. Give glory to God.
And now let's take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of more than 7 million confirmed cases in 188 countries, regions, and sovereignty. The fast-spreading disease has claimed over 402,000 lives, while more than 3.14 million patients across the globe have recovered from the new coronavirus infection. The United States of America, as of today, remains to have the most recorded cases, now at more than 1.9 million. While healthcare workers in the U.S. have helped over 500,000 patients to recover from the infection. Noticeably, India, which used to be a part of countries number 6 to 12, is now top 5 and remains to be the Asian country with the most confirmed COVID-19 cases now, with more than 258,000. This tally also shows that European countries have controlled the transmission of the disease, with an Italian doctor reporting earlier the new coronavirus seems to be losing its potency. These European countries also have actually been reporting about 69% to around 91% recoveries.
Meanwhile, the country's Department of Health says that 579 new cases were reported today, raising the total confirmed cases of coronavirus infection in the Philippines to 22,474. That is of 4 p.m. today. We have lost 8 more patients. But through our fervent prayers, medical interventions, and sacrifices of our medical frontliners, 107 more people have won their battle against the invisible enemy. That brings the total recoveries nationwide to 4,637. Thanks be to God.
Good news to all Meralco customers. Electricity rate will decrease this month of June. However, customers must pay their unpaid bills for the last 3 months starting June 15. Mon Hokson explains why.
Meralco customers can expect lower electricity rate this month by 2 centavos per kilowatt hour. This translates to 4 peso savings for households who consume 200 kilowatt in a month, 6 pesos for 300 kilowatts, 8 pesos for 400 kilowatts, and 11 pesos for 500 kilowatts a month. The lower rate is due to Meralco's lower generation charge.
Kung hindi namin in-invoke itong force majeure claims, generation charge and the total rate would have increased by 18 centavos and 24 centavos respectively.
The power distributor adds that its customers will receive 2 electric bills this month. One installment payment plan bill, which contains the amount of unpaid bills from March to May, and the regular bill for June.
Actually, in accordance to the directive of ERC, ang nire-require lang po muna na parang payment the customer here is just 1/4 of the June bill. They are just required to pay 1/4, not earlier than June 30, and then the 3/4 balance will be divided into either 4 or 6 depending on the kilowatt-hour consumption nito pong February 2020.
All households and establishments that consume 200 kilowatts lower will be qualified for a 6-month installment plan, while those that use 201 kilowatts higher will be given 4 months to pay their unpaid bills. Customers will be paying on installment basis starting June 15 and every 15th of the month. Meralco assures a steady supply of electricity, while understanding if customers cannot immediately pay their electric bills. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Trade and Industry says they understand the challenges owners of barbershops and salons are facing as they reopen. Still, businesses are expected to comply with safety health protocols if they resume their operations. Dante Amento explains why.
The Department of Trade and Industry visited 3 salons and 1 barbershop in Marikina City today for an inspection. The DTI discovered that neighborhood salons lack personal protective equipment, scanners, and visual cues for health safety protocols. DTI Undersecretary Ruth Castello explained they understand the situation of those business establishments since they reopened only yesterday.
Naintindihan natin na medyo challenging talaga, lalo na doon sa mga maliliit ang capital, maliliit ang budget, maliliit rin yung charges nila. We understand na mahirapan sila to sustain their businesses.
For now, only haircut is allowed even in salons, which really affects their daily income. They can operate for limited hours from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, as mandated by the local government.
Wala tayong magagawa kasi yun ang gusto nila. Pero napakahirap para sa amin talaga ang mag-adjust.
30% capacity lang po, but we try to, keep maximize po namin yung 30% capacity.
Based on the DTI guidelines, salons can operate for up to 12 hours a day.
Kaya lang, eventually, dadagdagan natin ang services that will be allowed na maibigay nila. Practice lang muna.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A lawmaker files a bill in the lower house of Congress to mandate the local and national governments to provide safe pathways for bicycle riders. Asher Kadapa Jr. will be with us tonight to tell us why live.
Good evening, Will. COVID-19 pandemic indeed serves as a wake-up call to all Filipinos as a law in the making hopes to provide safe pathways for all non-motorized travel, especially bicycle riding, across the country. Pasig City Representative Roman Romulo has introduced to Congress the bill called the Safe Pathways Act. This aims to mandate the local government units as well as the national government to plan and implement safe pathways for all forms of travel that do not rely on an engine or motor for movement. This includes bicycles, skateboards, push scooters, and the like. It will also prioritize the creation of pop-up bicycle lanes that should be exclusive and connecting essential destinations such as medical facilities, markets, schools, and others. Here's what Congressman Roman Romulo said in today's episode of Get It Straight with Danielle Razon.
Ang Pilipino mahilig maglakad eh. Ang problema nga lang, magbike, maglakad, problema wala ho talagang safe na daanan. Ito na ho yung pagkakataon na mamandato na po natin ang national and local na siguraduhin po nila na iplano na po itong pag-aayos po ng Safe Pathways Network.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA supports this and has also been trying to put in place a protected bicycle lane even along EDSA.
Yung panukala namin na ilagay sa bangketa yan, extend ang pedestrian lane, let's put up a bike lane side by side with the pedestrian lane, and let's protect it with a fence. That too is very challenging in a way na talagang mapuputol-putol po natin yan, segment by segment. Kasi nga po maraming establishments along the way.
In other news, Will, we have also been monitoring the fire incident in Barangay Potrero in Malabon City, which involved 3 warehouses. And the fire broke out at about 1 a.m. today, and it's been a 4th alarm until now.
Yes, thank you very much, Asher, for that report.
And And just like Asher Kadapan Jr.'s report, bicycles may be part of the new normal. We are living in an extraordinary time and things will never be the same for now. Amid the easing of community quarantines across the country, the threat of the deadly coronavirus still lingers. That is why it is important to keep in mind the health protocols as we prepare ourselves for the new normal. You ask, where am I allowed to go and not allowed to go? What can I and cannot do outside? According to the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, wherever you go and whatever you do, minimum health standards should be observed at all times, which include wearing a face mask, maintaining physical distancing, frequent hand washing, and disinfecting your personal belongings and surrounding. In areas under General Community Quarantine or GCQ, any person below 21 years old and 60 years old and above, those who are with immunodeficiency or other health risks, and pregnant women shall be required to remain in their houses, except when obtaining essential goods and services or for work in permitted industries and offices. You may now do outdoor non-contact sports and other forms of exercises such as jogging, biking, golf, tennis, range shooting, and even skateboarding. However, you cannot exercise and flex yet in fitness gyms. Amusement and other leisure establishments are still closed, with malls and shopping centers under limited operations. Also, there will be no parties for now, as mass gatherings such as movie screenings, concerts, sporting events, and other entertainment activities are still prohibited. Religious gatherings, on the other hand, are now allowed, but limited to not more than 10 persons. You may also get your hair cut, as barbershops and salons reopened starting yesterday under 30% capacity. Meanwhile, if you are living in areas under modified GCQ, you are now allowed for indoor and outdoor non-contact sports and other forms of exercise. Just be sure that minimum health standards and no sharing of equipment are observed. Unlike in areas under GCQ, mass gatherings, including religious services and work conferences, are now allowed in areas under modified GCQ, but participants are limited to 50% of the sitting or venue capacity. Dine-in services in restaurants and food retail establishments, barber shops, salons, and other personal care service businesses and other establishments under Category 4 are now allowed to operate at a maximum of 50% capacity. Despite the easing of restriction, remember not to be complacent with the invisible enemy. Make it a habit to practice the minimum health standards, take good care of your health, and most importantly, pray unceasingly. Jago William, we are on board the UNTV radio mobile booth and we are here in Commonwealth Avenue in Batasan Hills in Quezon City. Let's take a look at the situation on the road. William, Jago, for motorists who are plying this road section, the northbound lane of Commonwealth Avenue, expect a moderate to heavy traffic going to Fairview, though there is an unimpeded flow of vehicles here in our area. Same situation, Jago and William, on the other side of the road going to Elliptical Road and QC Circle. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island garden city of Samal in Davao del Norte, officials are requiring residents and tourists to secure a QR code ID. The aim is a more efficient contact tracing for COVID-19 cases on the island. Samal's local government launches Quick Response or QR code ID to be used in scanning at every checkpoints and seaport. To apply for the QR code, go to benefits.samalcity.gov.ph/QR_codes. The QR code received from the website will be used whenever entering and exiting Samal Island. Residents here must prove their residence by presenting any valid ID to authorities along with the QR code. For non-residents, they have to show documents like company ID or a business permit and the QR code to prove they have the necessary activities or business on the island.
More and more people are using food and grocery delivery apps now that only selected individuals are allowed outside of their homes. While mobile apps give convenience to customers, entrepreneurs who use the applications in their services maximize their use during the quarantine period. But there's a danger of encountering prank orders. A House bill has been filed in a bid to curb such prank orders. Vincent Arboleda gives the details why.
There are some people who enjoy doing prank by ordering items without any intentions of paying. To protect food and grocery delivery drivers from such act, House Bill 6958 has been filed in the House of Representatives. Under House Bill 6958, a person who wishes to use apps like GrabFood, Lala Food and Food Panda is required to submit a valid identification card and proof of billing address. It is also the obligation of the company managing the app to ensure that such user is an authentic person before allowing them to use the app. House Bill 6958 also prohibits unlawful cancellation of confirmed orders, especially if the order has already been paid for by the driver. Under the bill, customers are also prohibited to shame, demean, embarrass, or humiliate the delivery driver across any platform, including the social media. If found violating any provisions of the bill, one may be punished with prison mayor or imprisonment for not lower than 6 years up to 12 years, or paying a 100,000 peso fine and reimbursing the price of the commodity, plus double the delivery fee. Anyone who shames or humiliates a driver may be punished with prison correctional or imprisonment for not less than 6 months to 6 years. One exemption is that a customer may be allowed to cancel an order such that a delivery driver failed to deliver the goods for at least 1 hour after the agreed period, provided that the driver or the company was not able to inform the customer. As of today, though the House of Representatives is on break, House committees are allowed to conduct hearings. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Not only medical frontliners, but also inventors and engineers participate in the fight against COVID-19. And in the new normal to come, their contributions will be indispensable. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Not only epidemiologists, doctors, nurses, medical technologists play their part in the COVID-19 battle. Even inventors and engineers also participate in addressing the needs amid this pandemic, especially the health workers' needs. Some of these are 3D printed face masks, disinfection tents, isolation facilities, and sample collection booths. Here in the Philippines, the UST Faculty of Engineering takes pride of creating a telepresence robot called LISA, or Logistic Indoor Service Assistant. LISA assists when in communication between health workers and patients without physical contact. It has a tablet and remote control to operate. In Bulacan, a group from Dr. Yanga's College have created an automated robot alcohol rub dispenser. It is made of Lego blocks and sensors to dispense the right amount of rubbing alcohol. Even Vice President Lenny Robredo has tested the machine, which is now being used in hospitals and markets. This invention in Kenya can dispense liquid soap and water for hand washing. In Thailand, a mall innovated this elevator with pedals to select desired floor of destination. In Taiwan and Singapore, vending machines dispense face masks instead of soda and chocolate bars. More and more inventions come out in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And these innovations may become part of the new normal, though countries are now racing to develop a vaccine or cure to directly fight the new coronavirus. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Social media giant Facebook begins to act on the proliferation of fake accounts as different government agencies investigate the matter. Ray Pelayo reports why.
The Facebook management has begun taking down imposter accounts since yesterday, according to National Privacy Commission or NPC Commissioner Raymond Liboro. The official adds that as of now, the source of the fake accounts is still unidentified, but the Facebook management is resolving the issue. Most reports the NPC received were from academic institutions. The NPC encourages Facebook subscribers to report any duplicated accounts.
Masyado pang maaga po matunton ang buong kumbaga yung pinanggalingan nito. Pero alam mo yung imposter account, cloning at dummy account, yan ay parte na sa mga hinaharap ng Facebook at maging itong mga subscribers ng Facebook. Kaya naman may sistema na rin sila para correct yan, baguhin yan.
According to National Bureau of Investigation, Cybercrime Division Chief Attorney Victor Lorenzo, they are waiting for the complete report from Facebook as to the extent of the incident. According to the official, they have to know the time when the account duplication started. They also have to analyze if the target is a particular group or if the duplication happened all over the country. Lorenzo adds a glitch on Facebook's part is another possibility. The NBI has received reports as many as 12 duplicated accounts.
System glitch or talagang meron concerted effort ang mga individuals to create fake accounts. Yung objective niyan hindi pa natin ma-establish hanggang ngayon.
The NBI advises the public to save screenshots of duplicated accounts to serve as evidence. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Education continues to implement its Remote Enrollment for Alternative Learning System, or ALS. DepEd Secretary Briones also confirms the directive of the President's call, no vaccine, no face-to-face classes. Vincent Arboleda has the story why.
DepEd has recorded a total of 25,870 enrollees in the country for the Alternative Learning System, or ALS. This number does not include those from Regions 2, 4A, 9, 12, BARMM, and CAR. DepEd's ALS program aims to provide education to Filipinos who have no capacity to get education under the formal or basic education system. Dropouts may also avail of this program. DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones says that there will be no face-to-face classes until a vaccine for COVID-19 is made available. Briones says this is in compliance with the President's directive. According to DepEd Assistant Secretary G.H. Ambat, having no face-to-face classes won't be a problem under the alternative learning system since they have been implementing blended learning even before the pandemic.
Kumbaga pupunta sila sa learning center kung may oras sila once a week or twice a week para kuhanin yung modules at para bigyan sila ng instructions ng kanilang mga teachers. Tapos, iuuwi nila yung mga modules na yon, sasagutan nila at papasok sila the following week or kung ano man yung mapagkasundoan nilang schedule.
Should the student have questions or clarifications, students can message their teachers through the messenger or their group chat. ASEC Ambat says they have also implemented the system during the implementation of the enhanced community quarantine.
So kung hindi sila makapasok dun sa isang barangay, pinapadala po nila dun sa mga barangay workers yung mga modules ng mga bata at activity sheets at yun po yung sinasagutan. Tapos, Facebook na lang po ang kanilang communication.
ALS also implements individualized approach in learning as each learning module is tailored to students' needs. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, here's Elsie Marcos live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening, Elsie.
Good evening, William, and of course to Diego and Harleen.
Elsie, please give us updates of what's happening there in New Zealand.
Yes, William. New Zealand joins an exclusive club of nations that have successfully stamped out COVID-19, and of course the reason for that. Our fellow June Garin, who's now in France, will give us a review of some significant events over the weekend. And later, some fresh news on the coronavirus situation in Indonesia and Poland and why Sri Lanka is bracing for swarms of destructive locusts.
All right, Elsie, tell us why.
New Zealand will move to alert level 1 and a return to mostly normal lives from midnight tonight. Today's cabinet decision means that events such as funerals, hospitality, and public transport can all resume without any restrictions from midnight. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's announcement comes just 2 hours after health officials confirmed that the country has now 0 active COVID-19 cases. New Zealand recorded its first case of COVID-19 on February 28, prompting the government into firm and fast action against the deadly virus. On March 23, when cases numbered 100 for the first time, the Prime Minister imposed a strict lockdown which would tally 51 days. That lockdown kept Kiwis inside their houses except for trips for health reasons or the supermarket. Starting tomorrow at level 1, Kiwis can do and go wherever they like, but Prime Minister Ardern asked they keep a diary to track their movements. She also encouraged businesses to display QR codes at their doors so customers could continue to keep a digital diary, as manually signing in would no longer be required.
Elsewhere in Brazil, President Jair Bolsonaro threatened to pull the country out of the World Health Organization, citing the U.S. decision to withdraw late last month. While the U.S. is one of the biggest funders of the WHO, Brazil already stopped paying contributions in 2019 and owes $33 million to the organization, according to the newspaper Folha de São Paulo. Bolsonaro pointed to the WHO's decision to resume testing of hydrochloroquine on COVID-19 patients after trials were suspended the previous week. And in Germany, artists in the Cologne and Bonn region have set up a drive-through gallery in an airport car park to exhibit their work. 50 artists displayed about 300 works. Visitors welcomed the experience, describing it as unusual and completely different. After a 6-week lockdown, Germany recently reopened its museums and galleries, but face masks are compulsory and physical distancing rules must be observed. June Garin, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, in Indonesia, Jakarta has partly reopened after 2 months of partial lockdowns as the world's 4th most populous nation braces to gradually reopen its economy. Since April 10, the city of 11 million people has been under large-scale social restrictions. Jakarta Governor Anies Baswedan announced that all worship facilities were allowed to open on Friday. Today, offices, restaurants, and grocery stores began to resume activities with only 50% of their employees and clients. The same measures applies to public transportation. Schools are closed during this month's transition phase to the so-called new normal, while some shopping centers, zoos, and the beaches will open their doors next week. Jakarta, the first large city to enforce a partial lockdown in Indonesia, has recorded more than 8,000 confirmed cases with over 500 deaths. Nationwide, there's been more than 31,000 infections. Meanwhile, in Poland, a single coal mine in the Upper Silesia region is behind the record spike in the country's confirmed coronavirus cases, the health ministry says. Over the weekend, 1,151 new infections were recorded nationwide. An outbreak among miners and their families at the Zofiołka colliery in southern Poland reportedly account for 2/3 of that number. Poland introduced a strict lockdown early in March and has avoided the comparatively large number of deaths seen in Western Europe. In Poland, 1,157 people have died from COVID-19 and 26,561 have been infected by the stubborn persistence of cases in Upper Silesia, mean the country has not passed its peak. Most EU countries recorded fewer new cases than Poland on Sunday. New York City starts the reopening process on Monday. It's phase 1 anyway, bringing months of shutdown to a close. To start reopening, New York City has had to meet all 7 health-related benchmarks set by Governor Andrew Cuomo's 4-phase reopening plan called NY Forward. The reopening doesn't mean everything will immediately open back up. It just means that employees of construction jobs, wholesale, manufacturing, agriculture, and retail companies with safety procedures in place can go back to work. Hair salons, gyms, and restaurants don't open until Phase 2, which is likely to happen by July. Some New Yorkers agree, though many others don't. Grasshoppers with yellow spots that destroy crops have been reported in 4 of Sri Lanka's 25 districts. Agriculture officials say the locusts are breeding quickly, perhaps due to climate change, and could result in large-scale devastations of crops. Banana, coconut, and rubber plantations have already been affected. Authorities say operations are being carried out to kill the grasshoppers now as they are still young and do not have wings, because once they mature, the wings will enable them to migrate and spread. Farmers are using mild chemicals and controlled fires to destroy the grasshoppers. India and Pakistan have also been plagued by locust swarms, which have come from East Africa. Officials say they could come to Sri Lanka on an airstream and cause more damage. And those are the reasons behind the news here in New Zealand and in other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you, Elsie Marcos, reporting live from Auckland, New Zealand.
Various amazing and cool inventions that intend to keep a safe distance away from other people have surprised us, like, hey, that's possible. Remember the bumper tables in Maryland? That's just one of those innovative ideas to practice social distancing when outdoors or when dining out. Now, a shoemaker in Romania and a care home in France thought, hey, let's do this stuff. Here's why from Nina Armilio.
Imagine wearing a European size 75 pair of shoes. You may want to consider this now that experts tell us that physical distancing is one of the effective measures to avoid contracting or spreading viral diseases. Grigor Lup, a shoemaker in Romania from the Transylvanian city of Cluj, came up with the idea of long-nosed leather shoes to help keep people apart and respect the rules of social distancing.
I saw people crowding and not respecting the social distancing rules, and I said to myself, let's make a shoe, either to punish them or that they could actually wear them, and maybe that way they will keep the distance.
It takes him 2 days to make a pair, which requires almost 1 square meter of leather. They cost $115 a pair. Lup relies heavily on custom orders from theaters and opera houses. His business ground to a virtual standstill as live events were cancelled or postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic. But he was cautiously optimistic that sales would recover over time. Elsewhere, in northern France, a giant plastic bubble with adjoining tubes may look out of place in the garden of this elderly care home. But this inflatable innovation is helping residents and their loved ones be physically in touch again, while respecting safety measures. None of the 60 residents of Shedet Verkustra Foundation Retirement Home in Burbo have been infected by COVID-19, thanks to strict adherence to measures such as social distancing and banning visits by relatives. Since May 22, the care home enabled visits inside the plastic sheet.
Touch, notably with people who have Alzheimer's, is important. Sometimes they can no longer talk. The only thing they can do is touch.
Audrey Bernard calls the innovation the happiness bubble. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news, June 8, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Have a great evening, everyone.